Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you to the Maryland Retired School Personnel Association for trusting us with their trips. And we are going to be talking to this morning about the Hawaiian cruise that is going to go next year, October 30th through November 7th of 2026 on the Pride of America. This is an excellent time to go. As the weather, is 80 to 85 degrees every day, and NCL is definitely the way to cruise the islands. It is the only U.S. flagged ship and the only one that has the rights to go around the islands. So any other cruise line would have to either start or end in Vancouver or Ensenada, Mexico, or California, and cross the Pacific. So with doing it with Norwegian, you get a lot of time in the ports. You have over 100 hours in port. So we are going to talk about what is included. So we'll go on to the next slide for what is included. And the round trip airfare from Baltimore is included. The pre-night in Honolulu and a city tour. Your transfers to and from the ship, as well as to and from the hotel, are included. Of course, your entire cruise with all of your food. You could literally eat 24 hours a day on a cruise ship. Your gratuities are included for your cabin steward, the waiters, busboys, maitre d', the whole 9 yards, port charges, government fees, taxes, and a good variety of perks, which takes us to our next slide, which talks about the perks, and you get a lot. So if you book a balcony cabin, you get all 4 perks. If you do an inside cabin, you get 2 of the 4 perks to choose from. So I'm going to go over the perks, but in addition to that, you will receive $100 onboard credit no matter what kind of cabin you take. This package includes it's a beverage package that is unlimited drinks. That's alcoholic drinks, sodas, whatever you want for the entire trip. The specialty dining restaurants. If you're in the balcony, you'll get 2 of those. If you're in the inside, you'll get 1 of those, which means that any of the restaurants that are considered specialty restaurants, that they normally charge a fee, $35, $40 a person, onto the special ones, will be for free in the package. It also includes 150 minutes on the internet package and $50 shore excursion credit per cabin. I also wanted to mention that the gratuities for the drink package are included, which is really important because they're pretty expensive and they want that paid before the cruise goes. So all of that is included also. So your gratuities for the cabin steward, waiters, busboys, plus all your gratuities for the drink package and your wait staff at the specialty restaurants is all included. Okay, so we'll go on to the ports of call. Is our next slide. And it talks about where you're going to be at. You'll be starting in Honolulu, and that's where you're going to have your pre-night there, and you'll do the city tour. And then you're going to do Maui, where you'll spend 2 days, which is awesome. So the ship will be docked there. You can come on and off at nighttime, during the day, whenever you want, for 2 days. You'll have a day in Hilo, a day in Kona, and then 2 days in Kauai also. So like I said, 100 hours in port, which is just fabulous. And it shows the map there for any of our visual people. I love having a map, which shows you going around all of them. Okay, Moving on to Honolulu and what happens when you get there. On this slide, it shows Waikiki Beach with Diamond Head in the background there. You'll arrive typically because you're gaining hours getting out there. Most of our flights get in around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the bus will be there at the airport to transfer you over to your hotel. And then that evening will be on your own. Most people, it's a long flight. They're pretty washed out by the time they get there. That is why the next morning we start our touring. In the morning, you'll visit Pearl Harbor, the Arizona Memorial, followed by the city tour before you'll board the ship. So it'll take you out to the Arizona Memorial. You can take the boat ride out. You can see all the little stores there. They actually have some of the people who were there during that time that you'd get to meet. They're all dressed in green. And it's kind of neat to be able to talk with some of them. And then you'll get onto the motor coach. You'll pass by the King Kamehameha statue. There'll be a stop at Hilo Hana's to see the world's largest Hawaiian shirt and do a little shopping, but they'll take you along the beach area by International Market. And you'll see that area before you'll get onto the ship. Okay. Now the next slide shows some of the pictures in Honolulu. You'll see that is the King Kamehameha statue there, all the way to the left at the top. And then Diamond Head is on the right to the top. And just under that, that is the Arizona Memorial with the flag being flown there. That's where you'll boat out to that. That is a pretty somber experience. Every person's name that was lost is there on the wall once you get inside. And when we were there, a lot of people had thrown their flowers that they wear around their neck. They threw those into the water as like a little memorial to them. Shows a little bit of the sunset there and, just Waikiki Beach again. So that shows some of the things you're going to see on your tour there in Honolulu. Okay. So on the next slide, it talks about Maui. And this is where you'll be spending 2 days there. It's the second most popular island. That's the garden area. It's just gorgeous there. I remember when we were there, and we were off at night, it was the most spectacular sunset I have ever seen in my life. I have pictures of this and even framed pictures in my home. They're the most brilliant purples and oranges you'll ever see. And you see the flowers that are there. A lot of the islands have these flowers everywhere, and they encourage people, pick the flowers, wear them behind your ear, enjoy them. And they'll tell you that on each one of the islands. It talks about here exploring some of the town of Lahaina. They're still rebuilding the town, but a lot of it is coming back now. They're known for their pristine beaches and golf courses there. On the next slide, we're going to talk about some of the sample excursions. So, and anybody who wants a link to any of these excursions, I can send it over to you. And I'll send it to Lana. She can, post it or forward it. It's really neat because you can click on, you might want to do them one at a time, and that's how I do it. If you click on, Maui, it will list all of the excursions, and you can then click it, down further for your exact preferences. When I look at it, I always look at level 1. Level 1 is the easiest ones. Anybody can do them. They're not, where you'd have to be hiking or, some of the more adventurous ones. You can click number 1. You can even click on there how much money you want to spend and keep, coming down to whatever you'd like to see. but it lists so much and it gives great detail on all of the excursions. And I know for a lot of people, if you've been there before, you're going to want to do different things. If you haven't been there, you're probably going to want to know the most popular things to do and what gets the best feedback there. You'll see that some of the things that are listed, um, the snorkel sail, Halalaki crater, they do that morning and night. Um, the outrigger canoes that they have, whale watching, the Maui Beach Day, Road to Hana, Best of Maui, the chocolate tasting. They list a lot of different things there. The four most popular trips that there are that are out there in a level one, the whale watching by far is the best on any of the islands. So a lot of people do that when they're in Maui. The Road to Hana, that's another one. It's done by bus. You can get as adventurous as you want on it. There'll be several stops along the way where you can get off the tremendous waterfalls. Some of them you can see right by, if you're on the bus, some of them will be a walk to get to them, and they'll let you know which they are. And if you want to go to that, you can do it. If not, that's fine. The Best of Maui tour, which does the valley and some of the tropical plantation there. And they have a lavender farm there also that a lot of people like. And then the pineapple plantation is also another one that people seem to really like on that island. Now, the crater tour, when I did it, we went up. It's the dormant crater. It's 10,000 feet above sea level, and it's a neat experience to go all the way up there. The air gets very shallow, and they talk about walking very slowly, and it's a neat experience. I wish I would have went at sunrise or sunset. They had the sunrise tours, and I didn't want to get up at like 4 a.m, but now they have sunset tours. So that's a pretty neat experience. Everybody who goes loves it. Also, a lot of people say, well, what if I just wanted to have some time there to go to the beach? There are beautiful beaches that you can go to. When we went and had a beach day there, we went right by the Sheraton there by Black Rock, and you can snorkel out there. You can get your little snorkel equipment. You can rent it for a couple bucks on the beach, and they actually have food for the giant sea turtles, and you're right there with them swimming. It's an awesome experience. So luckily you have 2 days in Maui, and you'll be able to enjoy a lot there because they have a lot to offer. So moving on, Hilo is our next slide. Yep. And Hilo, it says there that it's like a giant greenhouse with spectacular tropical flowers at every turn. And it is amazing. Lots of historic buildings, but by far, this island is known for the national park, the Volcano National Park. The picture that's listed there is Rainbow Falls, which when you do the tour of Volcano National Park, some of the tours include Rainbow Falls. It is, if you have not been to Hilo before, there's no other choice. You're only going to want to do that Volcano National Park. It's like stepping onto Mars with steam holes everywhere. It is spectacular. And part of the tours, you go through a lava tube. Really neat. And they have some black sand at beaches there. We'll go on to the next slide that talks about some of the tours. Now, if you've been there before, you'll want to do probably something different. And they do. They have, they have the e-bikes now, and they've become really popular. Historic Hilo, you'll do that walk of fame where all of the celebrities have planted the banyan trees there, and they're all labeled, and that's a beautiful walk there. They have a gorgeous garden that it has flowers everywhere. That top picture up top actually is from the garden tour, but it just shows the coconut on the table there. Some of the waterfalls are to the right. You can see, this doesn't do it justice, the pictures whatsoever. The bottom pictures looks like, you're on Mars there, but when you're right there, there is no plant life at all there. And this is where the volcanoes have erupted there. And it's just amazing. And I couldn't believe when we had gone there that you can actually get right up. You can touch the spews. You can be right there. I mean, people were amazed. Nothing was roped off. You can go wherever you'd like to go, and it's a really neat experience to go and explore there. And I should mention that night. This is the night where a lot of people say, well, what if I wanted to go into the volcano like by helicopter? And this is the island. It's not a level 1, so I didn't mention that in our tours here, but yes, you can do it. That's for the more adventurous people. There's only 2 ways to see the volcano that has been erupting for the last 30 some odd years, is by helicopter or by boat. And luckily, as part of this cruise, you're going to be coming around the side of the island. When you leave Hilo, it's the only time that this cruise ship's going to move a little faster than just moving along, because it only cruises at nighttime to take you to another island. They're in no hurry, but except for this night, and they'll be in a little bit of a hurry to get you there because they want to get everybody there to be able to see the volcano erupting into the ocean, see the lava coming down. And you do get pretty close to this. You arrive about 9:30, maybe quarter to 10 at the latest. And I remember being out on our balcony and we were getting closer and closer. I couldn't believe. But it's awesome seeing that, especially at nighttime, seeing that bright orange going into the water and the steam. And you will get to experience that as part of the trip, which is pretty special when you go to Hawaii.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
In a little bit. Uh-huh.
Okay, that must just be somebody speaking. So we'll go on to the next slide.
Okay. You didn't do that, did you?
Okay, somebody is not muted. If everybody could mute their
No.
devices, because I can still hear someone coming through.
She sat it every day for 3 days.
Okay, we'll try and go on. Okay, Kona is our next stop. So the big island where Hilo is, Kona is actually on this big island too. It's on the other side. I mean, this is such an immense island. You can have it snowing in one spot and like a desert in another on this island. So Kona on the other side is the very sunny, warm weather, crystal blue waters. They're known for their golfing and surfing and snorkeling, kayaking, deep sea fishing. It's the only port where we'll have to be tendered in. And I'm not sure, if you haven't cruised before, if everybody knows what tendering is, but tendering is where if you come to a port that it's not deep enough for the cruise ships to get in, they will anchor out and take you in by smaller boats. And when you come into Kona, you'll be right there at the beach. So if anybody wanted to have just a beach day, this is perfect because the beach, you're right there. Beaches to the left, beaches to the right. The day we were there, they were doing some surfing lessons, which was pretty neat. And so, and if you like to golf. And also I should mention, on board the Pride of America, they have a whole golf store there that you can get golf shirts or clubs or anything. And they can set up for you in any of these ports, rounds of golf. They can set up your tee times. They can get carts, everything reserved for you right on board the ship. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next slide, which is talking about some of the sample shore excursions for Kona. And well, first we'll go over the pictures that are there. The coffee beans, of course, are up to the left. And those statues there are part of the ghost tour that they do. They're on the beach there. You'll have snorkeling at the bottom left. And then that bottom right one is the glass bottom boat that is available. So they'll have the glass bottom boats there. They have the Atlantis submarine is there. I think probably the most popular tour that they offer on this island, they do the coffee and chocolate tour experience. We did that. It was really neat. I don't even drink coffee, and it was a really neat experience. Seeing, the hills with all of the coffee growing. They have a salt farm there. They have a foodie tour, and I know those are becoming more and more popular, where it's a very slow walking tour through town, and it's walking and tasting along the way. I mentioned from the top picture the ghost tour. A lot of people seem to really like that, and they do have some black sanded beaches there in Kona also. Okay, so Kona is one of the other. That's one that you're only there for the day. So choose wisely on which shore excursion you'd like to do there. Now, we've had some people even, that especially for Kona, because it's pretty close, everything there, come off, groups of 4 or 6 and just rent a little van and do some of the sightseeing, their most favorite things on their own. The biggest difference when you do tours on your own compared to when you buy them on the ship, and we always say, if it's further ones out, you should definitely do it with the ship, because God forbid if you get a flat tire or something, if you don't make it back for the ship, you have to catch up with the ship. But if you're booked on one that's run by NCL, they will wait for you. Okay. Okay, let's move on to Kauai. And Kauai, it's arguable. A lot of people argue and say, well, is it Maui the most beautiful, or is it Kauai? Most people say that the most beautiful island is Kauai. It's the Garden Island. It's got very dramatic mountains there, and rainforests that are just gorgeous. So when we talk about shore excursions there for Kauai, we could move on to the next slide. We'll show you that a lot of these islands will have luau's. This one is very popular for the luau, and you'll hear that a lot on the ship. What you should know about the luau that's done in Kauai, they all have the fire dancers and the hula girls, and they'll have the pig and roasting, and all of them are about the same. But the biggest difference with the one in Kauai, it's done in a cornfield. And we've had complaints about that before, because I think a lot of people, when they think luau, they would like to have the beach as their backdrop. So if that's what you envision for your luau, to have a beach backdrop, you might want to look at Maui or one of the other places that they offer luau's. So the top picture up there, of course, is of a luau with the fire dancer there. And the other 3 pictures are just the pictures all around Kauai, showing the river there. And, they have there a canyon. It's like the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, just gorgeous. That bottom right one's showing a little bit of it, but they're beautiful, and a lot of people do those tours there. There is a train that takes you to the plantation as one of the tours here. They also have it's a cooking class there, and that's been getting rave reviews with some of the local favorite cuisines there that you would be cooking up. There's so many waterfalls that you're going to be passing by, and I promise you'll see rainbows all over the place in multiple islands. They're all over. They do some wild, zip lining and kayak tours and, some of the more adventurous things on this island too. But I think one of the most popular tours that they do is the director's cut there, where they go around and there's so many movies that have been made in Hawaii. They'll take you to like Elvis's Blue Hawaii, where that was filmed. Raiders of the Lost Ark, they'll show you where that was. Jurassic Park, most of it was all filmed right there in Kauai, and beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous. Some of the tours include ending at a waterfall where you can go swimming. Some of them do not, so be careful just in looking at which ones you're actually going to pick. But again, wide variety of shore excursions that they will offer, and you'll be there 2 days, so you'll have chances to see a couple of different things there. So that's about the islands there. I want to talk about the ship a little bit. On to the next slide. And you'll see some of the pictures there for what they have on board these ships, as far as the pools and theaters, some of the games, that you can play on board. There's no sea days. So, but some people want to come back a little early. They'll do like a half-day tour and then be able to enjoy some of the things on board. Pools, hot tubs. They have an excellent spa on board. They have the walking track, sports courts. They have shopping, lots of shopping on board. They have a great library on board. They'll have bingo going on. No casino on board this ship, though, because the gambling is not legal in Hawaii. So no casino on this one. This ship was just renovated. They actually we had people booked on it this last March and April and had to cancel them because they pulled it into dry dock and redid everything. They redid all fresh paint and carpeting throughout. So I think you'll be very happy with this ship. It's considered a mid-size ship. It's 80,439 tons. It holds 2,186 passengers on board. If you haven't sailed on this, it's a neat experience. Like I mentioned, it is the only ship that is U.S. flag flown. And because of that, they had to hire 80% Americans on board, which is a whole different feeling. You won't have that language barrier. And it's decorated, this ship. Like when you first walk on, they'll have a huge seal of the United States with every state represented right in the floor. And behind the front desk is all pictures of the White House. Hopefully they didn't redo that. I don't know. But all the stairwells have pictures of the national parks there. It's neat. They have a 50s diner upstairs that called the Cadillac Diner. You can go in there for burgers or milkshakes. They also have a great breakfast there with Belgian waffles, and you can eat either inside in the booth seats, just like a 50s diner, or they have an outside part where you can be right out there on the deck looking out the water. So that's a neat thing that you should check out while you're there. Moving on to the next slide talks about the price. So the cost on this, if you want an inside cabin, is $53.23. These are per person, double occupancy. The balcony is $6,029, and the deposit policy is $350 if you're in double occupancy, or $700 if you are going to go into a single cabin. And final balance on this is due June the 3rd. It shows there that you can make reservations online, or you can call our office and we can take your credit card right over the phone. The next slide shows that to reserve as soon as possible. They do sell out quickly. And the way that, like, we have a group block of X amount in insides, X amount in balconies. They don't give us cabin numbers until you go to reserve your cabin. And then once you reserve, they reserve them from the center of the ship out. Okay. That's where most people want to be, the center of the ship. People say, oh yeah, because there's the least amount of motion. You're not going to feel very much motion. It's only moving at nighttime, and they have, I didn't feel anything at all, and I can't even ride in the back seat of a car. So you're not going to have that problem on these. It gives a little bit of information on there. It doesn't mention about how to get the shore excursions, but like I said, I can email them to you. We have also information about travel insurance. We have a company that we work with. We have a basic plan and a deluxe plan, and I have rates for those. If they're exactly the same, basic and deluxe. The difference is if you buy the basic plan, you may have to put some money out, like I don't know, hospital or whatever you need be, and then get reimbursed from the insurance company. Whereas the deluxe, they pay for everything right from the get-go. You don't put anything out of pocket. And we have those rates. The inside basic insurance is $436. The balcony is $494. The deluxe inside is $623, or the deluxe balcony is $705. I think we've covered just about everything. I know we always get a lot of people asking us about airlines. We don't know which airlines it's going to be this far out. We do know that we don't do any charters or anything like that. They'll be full, airlines, FAA approved airlines. We do, if you have any requests, like if you had a knee replacement done, on the right side, we'll try and make sure we get you an aisle on the right side. We do try and follow all of those. We send the requests in, not that they're always met by the airlines, but we do our best on that. And I know people ask, is there going to be a charge on baggage from the airlines? Definitely there will be. We don't know which airline it is yet, but most of them are under $50 for the first bag, as long as it's 50 pounds or less. So I think I covered most everything. But please, if you have any questions, now is the time.
Everyone's still muted. So if you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Were there any questions?
Do you accommodate people who have food?
So yeah, yes, we do. If you're diabetic or anything, we turn that into the chefs there, and that's no problem. We got kosher meals, whatever you need, they will follow for you, and that's no problem whatsoever.
Okay, this is Lana. I did put several things in the chat, links to the webpage. And I answered a question in the chat because somebody wanted to know if we could put this presentation online, the PowerPoint presentation. And Heidi and I can put that on our Wix website.
Yeah, it'll be up later today. Any other questions from anybody? If you don't know how to unmute yourself, you can put it in the chat.
That one thing that Cherie said about the ship going by the volcano at night, I just wanted to say they turn off all the lights on the ship and you just look at the flow coming into the water. And I have a picture of it in that YouTube I made, but it is phenomenal. It is something that is amazing. You just can't imagine what it looks like. It's just streams of orange coming into the water.
Yes, it is. It is awesome.
All right.
And
well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.